Elon Musk is one of the smarter guys on the planet, and thus capable of using his words to really break down a bully or two.
People have called you the real Tony Stark.
So we went through his social media accounts, interviews, and question and answer sessions to find the top 10 examples of Elon Musk being an absolute savage.
It's horrible.
Proving that while he may be modest when it comes to naming endeavors like SpaceX or The Boring Company, he's definitely got away with words when he wants to. SolarCity and Tesla merger.
Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk puts his money where his mouth is.
Back in August of 2016, two of Musk's largest companies, SolarCity and Tesla, announced that they'd be merging. Musk held a 20% stake in each of the companies, but because they were public, the merger needed to be approved by shareholders. Musk's goal was reportedly to create an energy empire by combining his electrical car business with a vertically integrated and sustainable energy company that could power stuff like your home. The $2.6 billion acquisition was controversial, and that it was considered a conflict of interest, considering that Musk's Tesla was essentially giving a ton of money to Musk's SolarCity. Musk responded by saying that the only conflict of interest would have been had he not merged the companies.
That seems a little bit like either superhero or supervillain.
Before we go on, take a second to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you always know when we put up a new video. With that out of the way, let's get back to Musk's ferocity. He's savagely honest, even about himself.
For trying to do useful things?
Musk has done a great job replacing Steve Jobs as the go-to CEO that people put on a pedestal. A large part of that stems from his willingness to engage with his followers on social media. Back in July of 2017, Twitter user @EricDeepveen stated, "Following @Elon Musk on Instagram shows an amazing life. I wonder if the ups and downs he had made for a more enjoyable life." Those ups and downs refer to not only the ups and downs of being an extremely rich CEO that's also a public figure, which there are many negatives to, and refer to his childhood, which he's described as excruciating because of bullies, which may explain his lack of patience for bullies today and his acid silver tongue. Musk responded, "The reality is great highs, terrible lows, and unrelenting stress. Don't think for a second that people want to hear about the last two." This is a surprising amount of honesty that you don't often hear from successful people. And that shows that Musk's savage honesty extends to himself as well. He did follow that up by saying that the way he's found to deal with it is by taking the pain and ensuring that you really care about what you're doing.
It's just a much more exciting, inspiring future if we're out there exploring the stars.
What it really takes to run a business. Musk is also brutally honest about other aspects of running a business to let people know that it's not all mansions, supercars, and literal rocket ships. In an interview with a YouTube channel named Limitless Stars, Musk showed his amazing vocabulary and honesty when asked about advice he had for people looking to start a business themselves. Musk, a father of 5, clearly is pretty stressed out, and that's what happens when you run cutting-edge businesses that are literally pushing the boundaries of modern science.
You'll tell me if it ever starts getting genuinely insane, right?
Tesla, for example, is notorious for missing production deadlines for its highly popular and super in-demand cars. The Hyperloop transit system is basically a theoretical concept that some say is impossible to actually create safely or at all, and he's had a disaster or two in terms of his SpaceX rockets and their ability to land after traveling back from space.
Right, I'm in favor of flying things.
So, while he never seems to really be in a bad mood, he did answer that question with a description that would make any sane person think 10 times minimum before starting a business. Of starting a business, he said, "Starting a company is like eating glass, staring into the abyss of death." If that sounds appealing, go right ahead. Maybe he was just trying to get out of hosting Career Day at one of his kids' schools? Late show visit. It's always good from a public relations standpoint to hear that the feedback from your national TV appearance is that you came off like a villain from James Bond. But that's exactly what happened after Musk stopped by a taping of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Musk, who became rich mostly thanks to PayPal, has basically morphed into the person people ask about anything and everything scientific and futuristic now. During his Late Show visit, Colbert asked Musk about his thoughts on humans colonizing Mars, a planet that Musk referred to as a fixer-upper planet that could be transformed into a livable place like Earth.
It is a fixer-upper of a planet.
How would Musk do that? It's simple, really. You just have to nuke the polar ice caps. While the crowd laughed and it did seem like something Goldfinger would say, there is some logic behind it. The thought is that by using nuclear weapons on the ice caps, you'd not only melt the ice for water, but you'd also vaporize the water and carbon dioxide stuck in the caps, which could create an atmosphere thick enough over time to actually warm Mars to a habitable level, which could melt the rest of the ice and hopefully support plants that'd just love all that carbon dioxide. So while it may seem nuts, there's some reasoning behind it nonetheless.
You're a supervillain.
The snake charger. Musk's Bond villain moment isn't the only time that he's been savage on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and while the first time was a legitimate, albeit insane-sounding answer, this example shows that Musk does, in fact, have a sense of humor. He must have received the notes that he sounded kinda evil, and decided to humanize himself by making a joke or two. The one that lands in this video is one that's fun for the whole family, as it refers, basically, to being violated by a robot. Colbert showed a video of the snake charger that, while still a prototype, could be the future for Tesla owners at least, as it automatically detects your car and slowly finds the plug-in and charges the car without you doing any work. After the video was played, Musk suggested that people should refrain from bending over near the snake charger, and while a crowd hesitated to figure out if he just went there, Musk burst out laughing, showing that he's as funny as he is smart.
For the prototype at least, I would recommend not dropping anything when you're near it.
Now videos of this process on YouTube are set to Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. Being savage runs in the family. Musk is the father of 5 children that he's had over the course of 2 marriages. To his credit, he's one of those dads who actually listens to his kids when they criticize him. He was driving his son in his Tesla Model S one day, which initially had reading lights in the back that were removed in exchange for more headroom. Of course, Musk being Musk, he probably makes his kids read physics textbooks while he drives them from one robot building competition to another robot building competition. And when it got too dark outside for his son to read unaided, he asked his dad why there weren't lights in the back of the Model S. After hearing from his father the reasoning behind the lack of illumination, Musk's son responded that the Model S, one of the most sought-after cars in the world, was in fact the stupidest car in the world.
Because that's probably one of the things you're questioning.
That actually led to Musk not only adding lights to the next batch of Model S's, but also offering to install the lights in S's that had been delivered to their owners for free. So this shows that not only does Musk listen to feedback, but also that his ability to be a little savage didn't skip a generation.
It's about as bad as it can possibly get.
No discount on a Tesla. Part of the controversy behind the merger of Tesla and SolarCity was that Musk's cousin, Lyndon Reeve, was the CEO of SolarCity at the time of the merger. Being a family member, the owner of a company that he also owned a percentage of, and also that he planned to buy for nearly $3 billion, you'd think might land some perks for Reeve. However, it turns out that while some have said that Musk was dealing under the table via that merger, he's actually a pretty fair person that treats everyone the same way, even family. Reeve learned that firsthand when he asked Musk for a family discount for a Tesla. Reeve explained later in an interview, "I asked, hey Elon, can I have a family discount?" And his answer was, yeah, absolutely. Go to teslamotor.com, buy the car online, and the price you see there is the family discount. Not just savage, but also a sign that Musk isn't down with nepotism. Maybe that's one of the reasons that he resigned from Trump's White House Economic Advisory Council.
That will be victory. Victory is beating the snail.
The Crewless Ship. The Verge is a website that focuses on the intersection of technology, science, art, and culture. And while it's a fine journalistic institution, it also is prone to making mistakes sometimes.
Wait a minute, Patrick! Please stop!
A while back, they had an article about a crewless ship that was going to be able to essentially deliver cargo without a pilot or risk to human life in the process. While there was nothing wrong with the article, it was a tweet corresponding to the piece that appropriately rubbed Musk the wrong way. When the article was tweeted out, the vessel was labeled as the world's first crewless ship. See, Musk had already developed a crewless ship and responded with a checkmate of epic proportions by just showing his already in-action vessel and saying, this also means that Musk dabbles in the road with cars, sea with crewless ships, space with SpaceX rockets, and even futuristic travel via the Hyperloop. Is there anything this guy won't get into? Really though, after this interaction, you should probably also add that Musk is an avid dabbler in the science of burns as well.
Sick burn.
Musk quotes South Park. Part of being the CEO of a large multinational corporation or two is that you're essentially a public figure and thus have to deal with all sorts of negative stuff, especially online.
I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad.
Musk has had to deal with that more so than some other people, because he's not only the owner of multiple companies, but also because he's the most famous businessman in North America, and certainly one of the most famous in the world. While he mostly ignores trolls online, he sometimes has responded to them, more so if they're damaging to his personal or professional reputation, which is what the case was when he quoted South Park in November of 2016. A quote-unquote author named quote-unquote Shepard Stewart was writing fake news stories about Musk and his companies, which prompted Musk to ask his Twitter followers for assistance in identifying Stewart while quoting South Park. In the tweet, Musk said, "Can you uncover who's really writing these fake pieces? Can't be Skankhunt42. His work is better than this."
A few years ago, people were laughing at you. Now, not so much.
If you don't know, Skankhunt42 was a cyberbully on an episode of South Park during season 20. Just savage, Musk. And what are you doing? Watching cartoons. Musk canceled a Tesla pre-order. Earlier, I mentioned that part of Musk's appeal is the fact that he spends a lot of time responding to people who reach out to him on social media. And while most of the time that's a positive thing, there have been moments where Musk has had to lay down the law. The most infamous example of this is Stuart Alsop, a venture capitalist from California that was on the waiting list for a Tesla Model X back a few years ago. Alsop took offense mainly to the launch event for the Model X and wrote an open letter, starting by telling Musk that he should be ashamed of himself for a few reasons, including that the event started late, was too far crowded, and focused too much on the safety of the car as opposed to things like performance, technology, or comfort. People like Alsop had attended the event after putting down a $5,000 down payment on the Model X.
I thought it was terrible.
And while he may have been frustrated by the slow manufacturing process that Tesla is still dealing with, he didn't explain it that way. Musk responded by canceling Alsop's pre-order after Alsop ended his letter by stating that Musk should show some class, and followed up on the canceled pre-order with another letter titled "Banned by Tesla," proving that he hadn't learned his lesson. Either way, Musk showed restraint by not responding to that comment, but as they say, actions speak louder than words, and Musk proved that.
Well, I'm trying to do good things, yeah.
Help us prove something by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you always find out when we put up a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.